everyone. Welcome to Papastache 102. So this is another continuation. You guys said, hey, continue down this train. So here we go. I'm going to keep going and going and going. Now, in the last lesson, I referred to Hendrix rhythm-style playing, teaching me how to play major pentatonic. So, there's a link down below that will teach you kind of how to think about playing over 1, 4, 5, right? Different riffs you can use over each chord. This is how I came upon, right? Using that Hendrix sort of thing to discover what to play over different chords when we're doing kind of a major, minor, blues progression, rock progression, country progression. Any of that stuff will work, but it's all based on this Hendrix rhythm playing that opened up, all this major pentatonic playing for me. So I'm going to break down kind of how it happened for me, show you a couple riffs, and then hopefully you can apply that and check it out. So let's learn some of those riffs. All right, so I can still vividly remember the day when this light bulb went ding in my brain. I was, let's say 7th or 8th grade, Christmas Day. My mom bought me this Eric Johnson guitar lesson DVD, or actually it was a VHS, if any of you even know what that is anymore. But anyways, it was a VHS tape, and I heard him play one of his influences, a song from Jimi Hendrix. Didn't know what the song was, but I was like, that is that major sound. That is totally it, 100%. That is what I want to do, what I want to be, what I want to sound like later on in life. So I started from that day to try to figure out how it all came together. And what I use and how I, kind of use it in my playing was I took 3 shapes of chords that we probably already know. So I don't know if you've heard of this, but like if we were playing an A major, for instance, on the E string down, this would be an E chord shape, right? It's got that same E major shape. Right? Pretend that this was a fret, right? The E string, and if we were barring it, that would be an E chord, right? Well, if we move it up here, and say our nut moved up to the A, well, we still have that E shape, but now this note right here dictates that the chord will be called A major, okay? Now, same thing here. A string down, you have that A shape, right? It would be the same thing up here. Say we wanted to use a D chord, but with the A shape, right? There's that A shape, same thing. Okay? There's also D shapes of chords, so if we move this D chord up to the 9th fret, we're back to A again. So we have A here, A here, A here. Okay, now there's other versions of those chords as well. We can learn those later. But those 3 shapes are what really started opening the door, because I learned riffs around those 3 shapes, and that is what led me to the pentatonic stuff. So, all I knew when I first started was I could use the whole step of the E string, A string, and D string behind this chord itself. So, 5 and 7 here, but I could use 7, 9, 7, 9, 7, 9 of those 3 strings. Now, if I wanted to get that Hendrix sound, he does a lot of double stops. So I learned what those double stops were. And a lot of the double stops, you can do single string. So that would be, I started on the A string. And notice when we do this, we're outlining the chord tones when we resolve of the A chord. So I went, right, that's the root again. So I went from 7 to 9 on the A string, and then I went to 7 on the D string. Came back to the 9th fret on the A, and then I came down 7 D, 9, 7 A, went to E, 9th fret, right? And then back down to my A. Now that would be the single string version. And that's kind of where this all started happening, where the light bulbs started going off, right? That right there was also major pentatonic, and I did not realize how to play, right, that same position, right? We know how to play over minor pentatonic, but I never knew how to resolve in major pentatonic. And that's when I figured out, oh, this is that position 3 of pentatonic. But just by learning how to play Hendrix and what he did over chords, I started to hear how to resolve in major pentatonic positions. Right? I'm hitting that A. That's the 5th of the A chord. And then back down to the root. And now it started to sound like, oh, that's what major pentatonic soloing is like. Same thing here. Right? Also, you can mix it up and do the double stops where you're taking 2 strings at the same time. So let's take 7 of the D and G, and we'll do the same kind of hammer-on pull-off riff, but we'll add 2 strings. So I'm going to do the hammer-on pull-off on the lower string, but keep the string below ringing. So now you get... That's totally where that Axis Bold as Love kind of thing comes from. Now, same thing. I was like, well, okay, well, the same notes are right there. Oh, but that is first position. So I took those same notes here, applied them here. Right? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is starting to make sense. We can go back up into this chord. Right? I'm sliding pentatonic. And now I'm sliding my way into this shape right here, this F shape. Into the A chord again. And then I resolve to my A down here. So that would be the E and the A shapes. The D shape, similar, but what we're going to do, since we have to maintain a D chord shape, I'm going to use the G and the B strings, 9th fret, 10th fret, 9th fret G, 10th fret B. I'm going to do a double stop, and I'm going to go 9 to 11 on the G while maintaining the ringing of the 10th fret on the B. Okay? I knew that worked. So that right there, I grabbed the D note, or the 12th fret D string. Right? You can also go. So I hammered into that right there. So I went 9 and 11 on the D. Style riff. And then I was like, oh, wait a second, that also connects this. If I just slid up another whole step, I'm right in that next shape. Right? Always going back to those root 5th or 3rd notes to really highlight and resolve. Right? And the shape of the major pentatonic riffs was kind of lost in learning just how to play those Hendrix chord riffs over those different shapes of chords. But in doing that, I started to figure out, oh, I'm playing the major pentatonic, scale anyways. I'm just resolving the notes differently, and that's what makes that sound. Now, if you add that to just a couple of riffs, bending riffs that are, quintessential, let's say, bending riffs in major pentatonic, like this first position, right? You can start to expand your repertoire of major riffs to start to sound like, oh, okay, now you kind of know what you're doing. So that one would be barring the 5th fret of the B and E, and we're going to bend up the G, and that's going to be the 4th fret, bending it to the 6th, which, if you analyze that, you're just bending this note to here, which is the 3rd of the major chord. So you have these notes already barred here, and you're bending this one. So what you're basically doing is making that chord, but a cooler version of it. Add your Hendrix riff on top of that. And now you've got a bend with a Hendrix riff that's like, oh, okay, well, there's some ideas right there. Right? Same thing with that A and D. If we connected those two positions together, right? Remember this? That part of the chord for the E shape. Then we have this for the D, which ends up being position 4 of major pentatonic. Right? So if I learned a riff right there, that would be sliding into the 11th fret on the G, 10th fret B, 12th fret B, and I'm going to bend it up. And then I'm going to grab the 12th fret E. Let go of that one and grab the 10th fret with my first finger. Now, it's kind of a hard riff, but it's awesome once you get it. Right? Maintaining that bend the whole time. Bring it back down. That was just, and then I went hammer on 9 to 11 on the D. Slide from 11, 9 to 7, and then we're back in that A position. So that's kind of how that whole Hendrix thing started giving me ideas on how to play just strictly major pentatonic. Now, the gold comes when you get that sound burned into your ears. You know, it's just like, okay, I got it. I know how to do it. Realizing what positions you're actually doing that out of. Like I said, position 3, the D is position 4, right? And I'm combining it with position 3, but right, major pentatonic. This one, the A right here, is strictly out of position 1. And so when you combine those, right, those same riffs with minor pentatonic, you get all the gold you'll ever need, and you'll be able to play forever just knowing those couple of things. So you start to infuse your minor riffs and your major riffs and your Hendrix stuff over the top. You know, you got the now don't forget that link down below that's going to teach you how to play 1, 4, 5, kind of over major context, what to play on the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord. Also, if you want more of this kind of stuff, let me know down below. If you want like specific, hey, take position 1 and do major and minor and show us riffs there, or you know, show me just major riffs or just minor riffs. Anything you guys want, let me know. I'm going to teach more, right? I'm still going to teach songs, but I'm going to teach a little bit more and kind of get this so you can take maybe all the songs that we've already learned how to play, use those as an influence to apply it to creating your own style, whether you've been playing 6 months or 30 years. I want to help you take maybe your playing to that next level or open some doors that you're like, oh, that's how you do it. So let me know what you want to see, and I will do my best to shed what I have learned over to you. All right, you guys, thanks.